Okay, so we obviously didn't get to everyone's questions, but we are going to wrap it up. If we haven't read your question and you'd like to get an answer from the candidates, please provide your email to Kris and Lori, to my right, to your left. They will ask the candidate to be kind enough to provide their answers. Okay? And so I am going to ask each of the candidates to make their closing statements. So let's start with Gordon Earle.
Thank you. I don't usually like to mention the names of people who are not here, but we can't avoid it because Mr. Keddy does represent the government. And Mr. Keddy has maintained that this is an unneeded and unwanted election that the other parties forced. But it is important to be clear on the point that Mr. Harper's Conservative government was not defeated on a budget vote. The Conservative government fell because of their contempt for parliamentary policies and procedures. The Stephen Harper government was the first in the history of the Commonwealth to be formally cited with contempt. If ever we needed an election, it's now. Our democracy is at stake, the very democracy that many of our loved ones fought and died for. The values of our political system are built on trust. Now, Mr. Harper is right when he says that governments do have a responsibility to be transparent, responsible, and honest with Canadians. That's the promise he made when Canadians first elected him. The problem is he doesn't act the way he said he would. That's the reason Ottawa needs to be fixed. Mr. Harper's Conservatives have violated election spending limits. The Speaker of the House of Commons last month sanctioned the conduct of Mr. Harper's government twice on the same day. Mr. Harper prorogued Parliament on 2 occasions to shut down debate on contentious issues, and there have been numerous breaches of parliamentary process. The people you elect should behave the same and act the same after you elect them as they did when they asked for your vote. Each time I have run in South Shore St. Margaret's, my vote has increased. Last time, I was within 932 votes of defeating Gerald Keddy. The Liberal vote, on the other hand, has been declining, and in 2008 it was 12% behind Mr. Keddy, with the NDP only 2% behind the winner. So if you want to defeat Stephen Harper's candidate in South Shore, St. Margaret's, vote NDP. Vote for me, Gordon Earle, on May the 2nd.
Okay, and next we have Derek Wells.
Thank you. Gordon, the Liberal vote is back. We're seeing that everywhere we go. The Liberal vote is back, and we also have some NDP votes coming to us, and we have a lot of Conservative votes coming to us. So, we need to make a change. We all agree with that. But check the numbers. Check the Nanos polls. It's there. We're back. But let's remember why we're having this election, what our options are. This government was defeated on a contempt motion. 2 contempt motions. First time ever, as Gordon pointed out. This government cannot be trusted and is not prepared to work with the parties in Parliament. So the election is about trust, it's about priorities, and it's about our democracy. And it's, we can see the contempt by just having 3 people up here tonight. We saw the contempt this morning at the high school, and we just had 3 people at the high school. That's, if he were a candidate, fine, but as the Member of Parliament, you have a bigger responsibility to your community. Mr. Harper's disdain comes out in his treatment of public civil servants. I want to mention that because of the forum we're in tonight. Just mention some of the litany. He fired Linda Kane, the Atomic Energy Commissioner. He forced the head of the Census Canada to resign. He openly attacks Elections Canada. He replaced the Veterans Ombudsman for criticizing the treatments of our vets. The list goes on. And what did he do with the Integrity Commissioner after she failed to protect the whistleblower in the public service? He bought her off with $500,000 in hush money. That's shameful. I agree, that's shameful. We need to replace Stephen Harper. and we need to replace the Conservatives. And it's the Liberal candidate in this riding that can do it. We need to replace the Conservatives with a government that has health care and early childhood learning as its priority, not corporate tax cuts for the largest corporations. We need to replace it with a government that wants to help its seniors and improve pensions and provide a learning passport to its students, not one that has mega prisons as its priority. With respect to Mr. Earle and my good friend Mr. MacLellan here, the only way to do that is to elect a Liberal government. The NDP are not going to replace Mr. Harper. If you want to change, if you want to replace the Conservative government, its only option is a Liberal government, and I ask for your support. Thank you.
And finally, we have Kris MacLellan.
I'll start by thanking you all once again for your attention tonight. It is a true pleasure and an honor for me to represent the Green Party of Canada in this forum, and to have me here at all is mind-blowing for a party that even a decade ago many of you may not have even heard of. So once again, thank you. I hope that on May 2nd, you'll think of me. I'm not here to represent a radical change, as I mentioned earlier. We're not far left to center. We're not any of these stereotypes that we've been painted with for so long now. A Green MP, me as your MP, is going to represent certainly a change, but a positive change. We're talking about development. We're talking about me taking my youthful energy to Ottawa and working those late nights and putting in the work that's required to be your representative in Ottawa. It would be my great pleasure, and it would be indeed an honor for me to be your Member of Parliament. So if you believe in what I've said tonight, if I've even begun to pique your interest, please check out greenparty.ca. Please come up, shake my hand when we're done here. I'm happy to talk to anybody. Hopefully you'll see me on your doorsteps. You'll see me at the debates, where unfortunately you won't see Mr. Keddy. But it is indeed my pleasure to be here tonight. And on May 2nd, I hope you'll think of the Green Party and vote Green. Thank you for your time tonight.
Okay, so that's it. Thank you all so much for coming. This is a fantastic showing. Thank you to the PSAC for organizing this. Thank you to the candidates for coming. Again, that's Kris MacLellan, Gordon Earle, and Derek Wells. There is lots of tea and coffee and cookies at the back. Please save me one. I'm a little hungry. But if you'd like to talk to your candidates, please stick around and they'd be happy to do that. Thank you for coming, and please vote on May 2nd.